So you think it's bad when a little rain messes up your morning commute? Well, let me tell you, your ancestors faced climate shifts that literally erased civilizations from the map. Today, we are counting down the absolute most catastrophic weather events humanity has ever faced. Forecasts so unbelievably grim, it is a miracle any of us are even here. Okay, so this is you, right here, right now. Now, let's hit rewind. We fly past your dad, his dad, we keep going, past powdered wigs, past knights in armor, past the pyramids, and eventually we find a guy squatting in the dirt whose only goal is to not die before the sun goes down. That guy? That's your ancestor.
And here's the wild part. You are here today because he and thousands of others just like him somehow managed to survive when they absolutely positively should not have. See, your existence isn't about luck, not at all. It's the end result of brutal, violent coincidence and just plain stubborn survival against impossible odds.
All right, let's start with our first apocalyptic forecast. We're going back 20,000 years, right to the peak of the last great ice age. And let's just say Earth was not exactly a welcoming place to live.
The entire planet's thermostat dropped by an average of 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, you might be thinking, 10 degrees? What's the big deal? Well, it was a huge deal. It was enough to completely reshape the world and plunge it into a deep, deep freeze that felt like it would never end.
To really get a sense of this, just try to imagine massive ice sheets, some of them up to 2 miles thick, literally burying huge chunks of North America, Europe, and Asia. For thousands of years, most of the planet was just a frozen, silent, and incredibly hostile wasteland.
So what was your daily routine? It was simple and brutal. You'd huddle for warmth inside a hut, probably made of mammoth bones, and then you'd have to go out and try to hunt animals the size of a bus in the freezing cold. Survival wasn't a yearly goal, it was a minute-by-minute battle.
But eventually, the ice did melt. And around 10,000 years ago, humanity made this revolutionary choice that changed our story forever. We basically traded in our spears for shovels and became farmers. But this incredible leap forward, it created a brand new kind of danger.
The logic was pretty straightforward. I mean, chasing giant hairy elephants through the snow is exhausting, right? So we settled down, we built villages, started planting crops, but in doing so, we created this critical new weakness. For the very first time, our entire survival was completely chained to the weather in one single place.
So what was the big flaw in this new plan? What's the catch? What happens when you can't just pack up your stuff and leave, when the food runs out?
Famine. Simple as that. See, as a hunter-gatherer, if a drought hits, you just follow the animals to where the grass is greener. But as a farmer, if your crops fail, that's it. You and your entire village just starve. We basically gambled everything we had on the weather playing nice.
And that gamble, it didn't always pay off, not even in what we'd call modern times. Let's jump forward and look at 2 terrifying events from the last couple hundred years, where the weather turned uniquely, horrifyingly deadly.
First up, 1816. You might know it as the year without a summer. After Mount Tambora erupted on the other side of the planet, it spewed a colossal ash cloud into the atmosphere that just wrecked the global climate. Summer literally got canceled. People in North America and Europe were seeing snowstorms in June and frozen rivers in July. It was a bizarre worldwide apocalypse that led to massive famines.
Then, let's fast forward to 1952. London. This time, the threat wasn't from a volcano, but from the air itself. A strange weather pattern put a lid of cold air over the city, trapping all the smoke from millions of coal fires. It turned the air into a thick, yellow, poisonous sludge that killed thousands of people in just a few days. They were suffocating just walking down the street.
But all of those events, the Ice Age, the famines, the smog, they all pale in comparison to the single most terrifying weather event our species has ever faced. This is the one that came so close to wiping us out for good.
For this one, we have to go way back, 74,000 years, to an event that pushed humanity right to the ragged edge of total annihilation, the eruption of the Toba supervolcano.
When Toba blew its top, it launched an amount of rock and ash into the sky that is almost impossible to comprehend. We're talking over 670 cubic miles of it. To put that into perspective, that is thousands of times more powerful than any volcanic eruption in all of modern history. Just insane.
And the consequences were purely apocalyptic.
The ash cloud was so dense that it kicked off a volcanic winter that blocked out the sun. Not for a day or a week, but for an estimated 6 to 10 years. Global temperatures crashed by as much as 27 degrees. The world was plunged into a permanent, catastrophic winter.
And here it is, the most chilling fact of all. With the sun gone, plants died, animals starved, entire ecosystems just collapsed. And us? Genetic evidence suggests the entire human population on planet Earth shrank to fewer than 3,000 people. 3,000. We were hanging on by a thread.
So, why does any of this ancient history matter to you right now? Well, because every single person alive today, you, me, everyone, is a direct descendant of that tiny, impossibly tough handful of survivors who somehow, against all odds, made it through a decade of freezing darkness.
I mean, really think about that for a second. They lived through an actual apocalypse. No sunlight, dwindling food, and probably zero hope that things would ever get better. They survived when the entire planet was actively trying to kill them. You exist because they just flat out refused to give up.
So hey, the next time you have to scrape a little ice off your car windshield in the morning, just take a moment and remember what it took to get you here. Your life, this very moment, is the impossible dream that your ancestors endured an ice age, horrific famines, and a volcanic winter just to make possible.
You are the grand prize at the end of a 74,000 years survival story. Pretty cool, right? If you enjoyed this dive into our species' incredible past, make sure you hit that subscribe button for our next explainer. Thanks for watching.